Welcome, fantasy grognards, to Master of Magic. This is the coming game. This is the press demo that I've actually got my hands on. And I wanted to just go through what this game is bringing. It's very exciting. So if you're sort of bouncing in, or if you've even got, I know a lot of you from when we sort of do our discussions on the chat tactics sessions on Mondays, a lot of you actually have misgivings about the game, where you're sort of a bit concerned that it's going to be too constrained by the 1995 version of the game, which is a long time ago now. A long time ago in the distant dusty past, nearly 30 years in the past. And I had the same fear, to be honest. So I was sort of thinking, I hope they don't stick with it too much. I knew that they were going to hexes for the battles, which is great, and also for the main map. But I didn't know how much other things were going to change. Just let me say right off the bat, I am loving what I'm seeing with this game. This is really, really impressive. I think that they've certainly got not even the flavour. They've enhanced the flavour of the 1995 version of the game. They haven't changed much of the actual underlying mechanics, but the underlying mechanics are really, really cool when done with this sort of new veneer over the top. And it's not just a patching things up and making them look pretty. It really has changed the functionality. Now, there's a few things in the game that I don't like. I'll go through those as well. But overall, I am super impressed with what I'm seeing. I think this will be so immersive when people want to play it. And this will be the entry-level fantasy 4X game for people. I think this will be the one that people will go to. It doesn't have anywhere near the complexity of a lot of the other games. Like, even though I love dearly Age of Wonders, all of the Age of Wonders games, they do actually have a fairly high complexity level. Master of Magic is not that high in its progression. So for new players, I think that this will be a game that new players will absolutely embrace. It's incredibly immersive playing it. You really sort of I don't feel like I'm playing a game where the game mechanics were even inspired by a game that came from 1995. Although, having said that, so many of the great games do still like the game mechanics still hold true after decades of sort of development. Like, it's often games sort of lose out because they become too graphical or whatever it might be, at the expense of the gameplay. But the gameplay in this game is very, very, very good. All of the fears that I had, as I say, are not a problem at all. I'm finding with the game. The things I don't like about the game, like if the devs are going to change it, I think it would be easy to change, or like it's something that's not going to impact the flavour of the original game. So I think that they've done a brilliant job of balancing the game. It doesn't feel like a 1995 game. It just feels like a really, really cool modern game, and a game that is super easy to get into. So anyway, all we can do in this version is play as the High Elves as Cherie, the Halflings as Merlin. So I'm not going to be playing as Merlin. Why did they put halflings in? They could have had high men or anything, really. Anyway, we've got the High Elves, we've got the Halflings, or we've got the Draconians as Sra back in through here. So this particular demo that I'm playing has got a lot of limitations as to what you can actually play. So they're only just sort of showing a certain aspect of the game at this point in time. The game will end after 100 turns as well, so we only have limited time with the game. That's certainly enough to sort of show off the game. So good luck, Wizard. Okay, close. Now in the settings, one thing I have done is I've gone into Other and just disabled the tutorials, so they've been disabled. So who thinks we need tutorials? We don't need tutorials. So we've got and the settings actually are just very functional. The video has just got very, very basic settings. The audio similarly, and you saw Other there before. Credits, again, the game has not been put together by a big team. Like, this is a smallish team of developers, which is cool. They've done a great job. Little things though, it's just little things like there's a dot in this interface item, which is actually throughout the game. And I don't know why. I just get rid of it. It's distracting. For me, it's distracting. I noticed it as soon as I opened the game up. I thought, what the hell is that? I thought it was something on my screen, but then I thought, no, it's in the same position all the way through. That's one of the negatives. That's one of the big negatives of the game. I'm joking, of course. So anyway, let's go across into a new game, and now I've set up what I want to be playing as. Again, you've got like your wizard picks between 10 and 12. You're starting gold in through there. And so depending on what level you're sort of picking through here, like beginner, you're sort of ending up with a whole range of different things. I won't go through too much of this one. One of the things it has now added is the special events can either be none, the old original unmodified events, the original updated events, or updated and new events. Now, by default, it's now updated and new events, which is fine. So we'll just leave them on. I don't know, like maybe at some point in the game I may sort of just go to none, I'm thinking. But anyway, we're just going to play on normal and then just play on a small map. So we'll just go and do that. I won't get too stuck in what we're doing through here because there will be a lot of this early stuff we can sort of get through when the game is closer to launch, when we've got access to be able to tweak a lot more in the actual game itself. So back in through here, we only have the 3 wizards. Merlin with the halflings. So unfortunately, Merlin, I cannot play as you. We're not going to do our first run of Master of Magic as the halflings. I think that would be detrimental to my channel and to my reputation as somebody who hates halflings in games. So yeah, I don't like halflings in games, but I got to say the halflings in Master of Magic are about as good as you can get them, really. Like they sort of make sense in Master of Magic. They don't make sense in a lot of other games. I think we were going to be playing as Cherie. We also then have, of course, Sra in through here who can play as the Draconians. But let's play as Cherie. So we play as the High Elves. She has books in Death and Chaos. Now, one thing you'll notice is the tooltips in this game are exceptional. They're just brilliant. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to start the game and then I'm going to bounce out and start the same game in the original Master of Magic. Or if I can't do that one, maybe Caster of Magic. I'll see if I can record the original. I'm not sure if I can. Anyway, let's keep on going. So we've got that one. We've got all that stuff in there. Her trait is as a conjurer. So she so basically research time and casting cost of all summoning spells is reduced by 25%, and also reduce the upkeep cost of fantastic creatures by 25%, which is really, really cool. So I plan on making good use of that. So we'll just go continue. These are what we actually have. Now I want to make sure that we get things like ghouls. So let's forget about terror. Again, we can sort of see what these things do. So let's go and replace that one with ghouls. We have skeletons. We've got weakness. I wouldn't mind weakness. Taking no action. Yeah, that's not bad. I'll keep that one. Cloak of Fear. Dark Rituals. Weakness. We might get Cloak of Fear and put weakness on instead. We don't have access to any of these just yet. We weren't high enough in Death Magic. Just go next across into here. And again, I've got a fire elemental that I can summon in. That's going to be a little bit too much initially. I definitely want the Hellhounds because they're fairly early in the game that I can sort of get these, and that will then really bolster what we can do. I wouldn't mind getting the Firebolt as well. The Wall of Fire encircles the city with a protective wall of flames. We may need that, but we can always research that one. We've got Shatter. I think we'll get rid of Shatter, and we'll get rid of Warp Creature, and we'll get the Hellhounds and the Firebolt. There we go. We'll keep those. I won't worry too much about what we're sort of looking at through here. So that's what we have with Chaos. With the High Elves, we've got no choice, but here's all the other different sorts of factions, including the Halflings. So you've got the ones that are in the Arcanian races, and you've got the Mirren races back over through here as well. Again, I'm really, really looking forward to spending a lot of time with this game. One thing I don't like is that we're stuck with these original flags. I sort of was hoping that we would end up with a bit more personalisation, I guess, in the actual colour schemes. But anyway, let's just go this one over through here, or even the red one. Let's go red with the fire from the chaos and the chaos and the what was it? Not undead, the dark magic. Anyway, that'll do. The fire magic that we actually have. So let's begin our story. Now this will be a randomly generated map, it looks beautiful when you get into it. So by the spirit of Damballa, I'm the true magician. Others are mere dolls. I'm assuming that's the way that they wanted to spell that one out. I don't think they'd make that mistake. Okay, here we go. So this is our start. This is our border. You can see the red border from where we sort of started. It's called Silverleaf, this particular city, and this is all random. So this is not, even though we're playing a contrived game. You know, like we're basically we're sort of just dealing with the God, what am I trying to say? We're dealing with a God, my mind has just gone completely blank. I'm just looking at the user interface thinking, oh, I should show that, should show this. So anyway, I was just talking about this is not a random, this is not a predefined map. God, that was painful getting that one through. Now, on the map, one of the things I don't like about this is that there's no, when you hover over things, it doesn't give you any information. And I sort of wish it would by default. You can turn on the surveyor mode. Now, I won't go through what the surveyor mode is. We'll show that in the original game so you can sort of see where it is. There's a lot of things missing from this because you don't need it. The surveyor mode, I would like to have even just got like a dumbed down version of what we're sort of seeing through here. But it doesn't really give me much at all. And there's no real way at this stage of being turned, and I say at this stage because hopefully at some point there will be some map things you can just turn on to get basic information globally. To turn on the surveyor mode, you either click that or press tab, and then you get like a tooltip that then goes through. For example, in through here, this forest that we can sort of see through there, by default gives us 0.5 food and plus 3% production. The wild game provides plus 2 food into the town, and the shoreline increases town income by plus 10% and maximum population by 0.5. Towns placed on a coastland tile can build naval units. Now, we're not quite on the coast ourselves, so we can't build naval units from in here. I'll just very quickly go through the interface and just basically play one turn, I think, in this episode, and then I'll go and play the same turn using the same parameters from the original game, hopefully. If it will work. This is something that I think it would be so cool if there was just like a tooltip way of having everything display as to what's going on. That would make more sense, I think, than having the surveyor mode. So this is one of these things where I think that they've tried to stay true to the original, where it would be better if they didn't. Another thing I wish that they had in this one was when you do zoom out, that you had a higher level of zoom that went to a cloth map. I think that would actually be really, really cool. So these are little things that I don't love about the game the way it currently is, but again, it's quite serviceable what you do get to sort of see in through here, except for those sorts of things. Now, you've got your standard sort of like gold, mana, food, like the food produced and consumed basically with what's left over. In this case, we've got the towns are producing 2 food, and the upkeep is -2 from units. And then we've also got our fame, which we haven't got anything just yet. You've got your spell casting and your research. Now that will also then come across into here. What it wants us to do is to pick research and then do something in the town. So we've got a queue to do research available, and then the queue completed in through there. It needs something to do with the housing. Again, I prefer these reversed so that the one that we're going to be doing is closest to the information down in here. I sort of find in games I natively go from the bottom up in these sorts of rows, and because I'm always assuming that whatever's next is sort of filtering down towards the next most important thing at the bottom in here. It may just because I'm used to Age of Wonders that could be the case. Anyway, that's sort of where we are with that one. But let's just pick the research. So when we come in, this is very similar to the original game, so I won't sort of spend too much time with this one in through here. I think we'll just go straight to fear. Let's go that way. I won't spend too much time sort of worrying about that one. Again, it's really quite nice the way it does look. So that one goes in. Now we've got our move army sort of areas in through here. When we come back in, we've got 2 armies. Now the armies sort of stay here the whole time if they're around. And you can see there we've got certain movement that we can't do. Now what I want to do initially is just find a good place. You can see there that the map seems to expand up through here. And we get hints of terrain, which is really nice, like hills, and we don't see everything, but we see enough to just get a bit of a feel, a bit of a sense as to what the actual world might be like. I love it. I really love that. And more trees down that way, more trees over this way. This is looking fairly cool, actually, just from a bit of a sneak peek. Now, if we go and grab the high elf settlers, we can move a little bit further. They do get stuck on this hill, but we can move them across into here, so let's just move them around to this side. Now, one thing I don't like about this, and I'll just show you this right away, is that with this one selected, we've got a few different things we can do with it. So we've got, like, for example, continue movement if I moved it somewhere else. The guard mode, where so you order the unit to stand guard, which is fine. This one here is wait. Order this army to wait for orders until the next turn. Or this one here, we've got special actions. Now this is on all the time. Now when I go into here, the only action I can do is to build an outpost. But if I go and click on this one, so construct an outpost which turns into a hamlet after several turns. A unit with settler skills is required to perform this action. If I click on that one, it then says the location you've chosen for your new town is not valid. New towns must be must be built at least 5 tiles away from an existing town, and towns cannot be built on water tiles. So this is actually one of these things where, why show me that now after all of that? That should just be off by default. I've got no special actions I can do. Keep it like the others, like don't tease me with that. Also, I would like to see like an indication on the map where you can do another setting where it will show you where you can settle towns as well. Like Deity Empires has got that, and I think that this game will compare very strongly with Deity Empires, and I guess Age of Wonders 3. And even Fallen Enchantress, which is still in development as well, by the way. So yeah, there's a lot of really, really cool fantasy games, and this will be right up there with all of them, actually. This is an exceptionally good game. Now, we've got the next one down through here. We've got our High Elf Swordsman. Now, what I want to do is I just want to find out where we can go down into here. We've got different sort of monster lairs and so on and so forth. Let's move towards the north. Let's go into here, I guess. Actually, let's do this one first. So we're just going to move our swordsman across. Some caves are mere shelter from the elements, but some may hide a beast lair or even a treasure trove. I really get a sense of immersion, like just from the beautiful artwork, and even the storytelling it's not overly verbose. It just does what it has to do. And so some may hide a beast lair or even a treasure trove. All we can really do here is enter. The cave is empty now, but may hide a well hidden stash. We picked up 10 mana. So we'll accept that. All right, so we're now into this one in through here. Now all I can do is end the turn, but I still have a few other things I wanted to show. Casting spells. Now, I may be wrong, but I thought the Magic Spirit, you had to have like a certain book to get that one, a spell book, like a single spell book. But I may be wrong about that. We'll find out very, very soon when I start a game in the original Master of Magic. But what I can get is skeletons in basically straight away. I do actually have enough mana to get one of those. I can get one of these in one turn. These are really cool just for the initial expansion, particularly across the water. The Hellhounds are great as an early unit to use for expansion, and the Ghouls are also very, very cool. They're very, very strong. But they're going to take... Actually, that's only 5 turns to get a Ghoul unit. Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy. I'll start with Magic Spirit. We'll go that way there. And it's just a world spell. And this, you get this, I think, with no matter what you actually have. I don't know. I think this is just on by default. I may be wrong about that one. Like, you've got the summoning spells back and through there as well, and you've also then got your other spells. Just put them all on by default. Again, just nice, serviceable way of sort of showing, which does really harken back to the original. Just go back into the Magic Spirit again, and we'll then cast this particular spell. It's now there. We've almost got enough mana to sort of get it going at this point in time. What I could do is actually go across. There's a few other things we can do over here. So, for example, we've got the wizard information, which just gives a summary of the actual wizards. You've then got your history back into here as well, and your victory screen as to how far along you are in victory. You've got your cities in through this side, which I haven't spoken about yet, so we'll better go into that and do that one. That's another one we have to go back and do. We'll do that in just a minute. You've got your armies, which we had a look at before. They've now split up into 2 different armies. We're sort of seeing where they actually are, where they're located. Just close that one off. They've got your magic back in through here. Now, what we could possibly do, I don't know if we can do it immediately. If we had mana and boosted that up to 6, I might just do that. Have less research, less casting skill. So we'll do that one and just close that one off there. I won't explain too much about what that actually all is. You've got diplomacy in there, but we don't have anyone to talk to just yet. We're all alone. And so, no, I don't actually have enough. I'll have to wait for next turn to do that one. But I'll be wanting to build an army of conjured units of ghouls and fire like hellhounds, etc., etc. So anyway, let's go across now to city information. Now there's a couple of ways to get into the cities. I'll just close this one. One way is to double click on the city itself, on the actual map itself, but the easiest way is just to use this one. And this will just give you a summary of what the cities are doing. You can actually manage it with the familiar, so they can actually just go across and sort of structure that themselves. And look, if I turn that one on for a second, you'll sort of see there that it wants to build a high elf swordsman. Now, I don't really want that, but it's now remembered that that's what we want to do. So, and it's also then changed other parameters of the actual city itself. But let's go in and just double click it. And so we now come into the city screen itself. When I first came in, I actually thought, oh, hang on, I really like the old Master of Magic where it sort of showed everything that was in the city. It's still there. You just click on that one there. You can then sort of see, this is cool actually, I haven't seen this, I didn't realise that we'd started off in a forest, but this one does actually then, whatever the terrain is, it does make use of the terrain that you then get to see. This is a sort of style I would love to see in the cloth map, if you sort of could zoom out a bit further. I think that would be really, really helpful. Now, some things won't change from screen to screen between these two. You'll notice that this over here doesn't change at all. We've got like the unit display, the towns display, so we can sort of go through the towns very, very quickly. Again, it makes very, very good use of the interface. And these are the buildings we actually have available. Sorry, not available. These are the buildings we have already got built and what the upkeep cost is. We can sell some of these off if we don't want them. Like we can sort of get rid of a few of these, which we won't do, of course. So that's just showing us what buildings we actually have already got. If we then go back and close that, if we go back into here with the build screen, you can see we've now got the High Elf Swordsman, which I'm going to not get that one. I can actually buy that one. I couldn't afford to do that one. But I'm going to use summoned units initially for my initial armies. So let's just go to the build menu. So we do go across to another one. One of the things I find a little bit annoying with the game is it has a construction queue for either units or buildings. You can't actually have them as two different construction queues. I guess it doesn't matter that much, but it's one of those things. One thing I love about this is that you can see all of the things you can't quite get and what you need to be able to get them. So to get the High Elf Halberdiers, for example, we're going to need to have an armory. Over this side, there's the armory. It can be built because it's not grayed out. One thing I would like to see in here is when we don't have a building, if I go, for example, to the next page, because this has got all of the different buildings. The farmer's market, this is one thing I don't like about the game. I wish it would grey back the ones that we haven't built yet. So it would show the ones that we have got built, but the ones that we don't have built should be displayed to show that you still haven't built that one. Even a tick through these and nothing on these. Something like that would be so useful. So I hope that they make these sorts of things, in the actual base game early, because these are the sorts of things that are they're just little annoyances, I guess, where it would be nice to be able to do that one there. I'm going to have to go and build was it the marketplace? I forget what it was. What was I looking at? Was it just farm? Yeah, it was farmer's market, and that was the marketplace that we did require for that one through there. But let's just not build this one here. I'll just get rid of that one from the construction queue, and we'll go and build ourselves a library, which will give us a bit more research. The sawmill will give us it's a bit too much maintenance. This stage it actually requires a forest within range, which I think we've got. Well, we're on a forest, so I don't know if that counts. Marketplace in through here increases the taxable revenues of the city by plus 50%. That'd be good. The shrine is always good to get extra power. That's a nice one. It's only one upkeep as well. There's a few of them that are quite cheap. Requires minerals, mountains, or hills back in through there as well. Again, if they're not available, that shouldn't present itself. It should actually sort of not show itself up, even though it's got the message there. It should give you the information about what you're going to get. So it's not giving enough information at this early stage. So let's go to Shrine, actually. Let's just go and grab that one for now. I can queue up a few other things like the library as well. Let's just get a couple in there. It's queued up. And so we're going to see that we're building the Shrine, 15 turns to get that one. Then we have the library after that one there. So that's the cities. Again, really quite nice. Now, let's finish off this episode with basically a look back at the original and just do a bit of a comparison. So this is what the new one looks like, just so you get it in your head. And now we're going to go and look what the old one looked like. All right, here we go. We're going new game. So we've got easy difficulty, so we don't have anywhere near as much settings, which is good. So we're sort of seeing a lot more settings in the original. So that's actually very, very nice. Again, what have we got? We've got normal, hard, impossible, intro, easy. Just go to normal mode, I guess. Opponents, now how many can we have? Only up to 4 again. I hope that they expand that when they actually do release the game. At the moment, that's all we have as well. Land size, again, we've got small, medium, or large. Magic is normal, powerful, weak, normal. We'll just keep it on normal. So you can see there's a lot less settings we actually have available to us here than what there was in the other game. We had a lot of other different things, and this is good. I hope that I don't want them to be constrained by this. This worries me a little. So seeing 4 there, I hope that that's not going to be the case. It's gone okay. Now we're going to be playing as Cherie. I'll just keep what she's got already down through here. She is a conjurer. We can see there the number of spell books, 5 and 5. That works. Done. Cherie is fine. We're going to go High Elf in through here, and we'll choose the red flag. Building the world. I'm not going to spend much time in here. Name the starting city, so we'll just press OK. I don't think I can ever play this game again, actually, after this, to be honest. You can see there's just it's hard to the interface is just so constrained by the pixel size. It was great in its day, but it's a long way off. And so to do the things that we were doing, for example, like we had game, which is sort of how we can then sort of quit, do the settings. Now the settings, sound effects, background music, event music, city spell events, overland sort of spell events, summoning events. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's messages. So this is just messages and stuff. This has got more settings than the new one. But the new one doesn't need it. It presents it all anyway, so that's fine. We'll just click on OK there. Spells. So this is the spells we actually have. We did actually get Hellhounds and Ghouls. We didn't get to choose it though, whereas we did it back in the previous one. Actually, we do have Magic Spirit. Okay, I was wrong about that. So that is available no matter what, I would guess. So that's not a problem. So that's the so we've got the summoning spells and the city spells. Again, just sort of off to the side there. We've got armies, and so again we're seeing we've got a spearman and a swordsman. We don't start with a settler. That's an interesting part of it, actually. The fact that we do start with a settler. So that's again a design decision that they've made to sort of move away from what the original actually had. I'm happy with that because at the start of the game, it's quite a safe game to play, and so you do want to get that second city up and running. So why not? That looks very, very cool. You do have your items back over here. I didn't look for items in the previous one. Not that we have any anyway. Just click on OK, but there will be the items, I would imagine. Cities. Also, you saw there that the order was different. If we just click on OK for a second, the game menu was back over here, which makes a lot more sense. You were starting off with, what was it? You're starting off with info, not just info. You're starting off info, and then you were looking at the mirror, was where we were looking at originally. This one doesn't have the if we go back to info, and what's the Grand Vizier? Do you wish to allow the Grand Vizier to select what buildings your cities create? I'll go no, because I think that's across the board. Tax collector, chancellor, astrologer, historian. Actually, the astrologer is current status of the wizard, so it just goes through what the status is. This is sort of like that other screen that we saw there. That was all part of the mirror phase. The apprentice is going to then allow us to then sort of do our research. I won't worry about that one just yet. And anyway, that's the info. But the other one that's in here is the surveyor. And so the surveyor is actually this is where, again, you're getting the information on the side here, which again is serviceable. Like it's telling you, you get the forest is providing a half food plus 3% production, and then the wild game plus 2 food, which is what the tooltips were giving us in the other game. But God, isn't it so much nicer in the new game? And even though the mechanics were here in this game, it's just so much more pleasant in the new one. And this one here, again, we've got, this is a ruins, which is unexplored. So we've got the same sort of deal through here. But I think that I can understand why this one has to have the information over here because it just can't do it in such small pixels. But the new game should be able to have much more detailed information about what's around you. So I see no reason for not having that, to be honest. Magic, we've still got the same. Whoops, I've got to cancel that. Magic is still going to give us the same areas here where we can sort of boost our mana. So we've got the same sort of deal. So just go OK. In terms of our spells, so we can then go back in and get the magic spirit. So that's now being summoned in. And again, it's not giving us any information about that, whereas the new game does. And then we have research, which is done where? Magic, I think it's apprentice. I think it'll ask us. So if we click on skeletons as an example, actually if we go back, info apprentice, the new one is easier, much easier to use. I think that people, yeah, I'll just go skeletons. I'll just keep it on that one through there. So that's sort of where we are, I think. So if we have a quick look, is there anything else we wanted to look at? No events this month. That's okay. It's so clunky in comparison. It is so clunky in comparison. Let's just go and split these guys up and just go and do another movement across. Oh, that one couldn't even get there. Yeah, so these are slowed right down with their actual movement. Again, we've got the city as well. We can actually we can't even double click that one. We have to go back into here and then click on the city to go into this city screen. This is what I thought I was missing, but God, isn't it so much nicer in the new one? I do like this display, I've got to say. I do like this, and you get a summary of it in the new game, but actually I think I prefer this. And also this, where you've actually got the different units and you click on them to change them, into farm, like how many farmers and workers you actually want in the city itself. You've got the housing, so when you change the housing, of course, in through this side as well, you don't see what's coming, and this is what makes this game quite difficult to sort of play. It's not intuitive. You've got the other things back over here. For example, we went with the shrine, so you can see that everything is actually still here. You click on OK. You can't actually queue things up in the base game. You can in Caster of Magic, I think. Yeah, and so you can only build the one thing at a time, but you're not getting the all of the stuff you can actually build. And I love that the new game has got that. This is why there's so much more information has been presented, and it doesn't change the spirit or the feel of the original. It just enhances sort of like the what you've got and provides you with a lot more information. I still think it could go further in those little things that I did mention though. Anyway, I'll leave this episode here. So I thought it was useful to sort of have a bit of a look back at the original game as well, just to get a bit of a comparison. I think when you look at the original game and then look at the new game and put those into context, this is like it is really such a great addition to it's a great rebuild to the actual to the base game. It's not to the base game. It is the base. It's the new base game. But I'm really happy with what I've seen. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. Well, guys, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you for watching, and I don't know how much I'll play because I just wanted to sort of show what was coming. I will play at least one more episode, and I'll probably release them all on the same day. So I'll try to get this one as close to launch as possible, or the embargo, and I'll get the other one out within an hour or two of that one as well. Thanks for watching. I will catch you next time. Oh, please also, I keep on forgetting to say it, but thank you for the, I know that this is the sort of game that many of you guys do like to watch on the channel, and I do want to thank you guys for your support, just over the years really, and allow me to sort of really come and play these sorts of games and present them. It means a lot to me, so thank you for that. And like support can be done in all sorts of different ways. You've got links to merchandise, you've got Patreon, so thank you my Patreon supporters. I really can't do this without you guys. But also even just a simple like and subscribe certainly does help a lot. And by all means join me on my Twitch channel as well. We play these games an awful lot, these sort of games, and we actually have a mode of playing where you can, one thing I didn't test was renaming the actual units. I think you can, I'm pretty sure you can rename the units. And we have a thing called Dazdemption where if your named unit dies in combat, basically you're put into timeout for an hour. So you get punished for my lack of ability. Thanks for watching. I will catch you guys in the next episode.